who planted to take over the reins.
Eyewitness News, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za. 702. The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener. Live, online. The 702 app, DSTV channel 856, 92.7, and 106 FM.
The Midday Report is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking, the partner that thinks bigger about guiding your business growth. Visit nedbank.co.za for more. On the show today, calls for President Ramaphosa to step down as he considers his next step in response to the Phala Phala report. The DA is calling for early elections. The EFF is blocking the M1 highway in opposition to Janusz Walos's release from parole while waiting for the Justice Minister to make an announcement. ABB pays R2.5 billion for South Africa for Eskom state capture. And our book of the week is about rugby, resistance, and politics. All of that after the next hour.
702. Let's walk the talk.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Report with me, Mandy Wiener, on 702 and Peg Talk. Well, we find ourselves in uncertain times again in South Africa. It's all up in the air politically. Who knows what tonight or tomorrow may bring? We have been here before. We are far too accustomed to this. September 2008, when Mbeki was recalled. December 2015, when Zuma fired Pravin Gordhan. February 2018, when Zuma was removed. We have been in turbulent times before, but here again. But will Cyril Ramaphosa weather this storm? So this is where we are right now. Ramaphosa is not appearing before the NCOP to answer questions this afternoon. He was supposed to be doing that. The Deputy President, David Mabuza, has cancelled his appearance at World AIDS Day event today. The Minister in the Presidency did hold a post-cabinet meeting today. Where he brings senior members of the party met last night, they met this morning, early into the early hours of this morning. There are calls for the president to step aside. There are conversations about who could be a stand-in president. The Democratic Alliance is calling for early elections, saying the president should step down. The presidency did issue a brief statement last night after the report was made public. But about 10 minutes ago, I did a pre-recorded interview with the spokesperson for the president, Vincent Magwenya. They haven't spoken yet. This is the first time that Vincent Magwenya has spoken. So have a listen to what he's saying about what the current situation is. Vincent, thank you very much for your time. I understand, obviously, you're under enormous pressure and in demand. Firstly, what is the president's reaction to the report that has been released? We saw you release a statement briefly last night. How has he been contemplating it, and what is he doing about it?
Well, the president has been going through the report, processing it, but also thinking through its ramifications with respect to the stability of government as well as the stability of the country. He's been thinking through the different permutations that have arisen as a result of the conclusions that the panel has reached. And so currently he just seems to wait that process. Obviously, there has to be some kind of way forward that is given to the country so as to not keep the country in suspense and also so as to not allow for all sorts of speculation to take root, but really give the country a clear sense of direction in terms of what the next steps are going to be.
He did take the decision not to appear before the NCOP to answer questions as planned this afternoon. Why did he take that decision? Would it not have given the country comfort and clarity for him to appear and talk to us then?
No, as you know, the NCOP engagement was over a set of questions that were submitted to the president in considering the level of public interest on the panel's report. And in considering, as I said, the implications and the ramifications, it is prudent to take a sustainment to that question. Many will agree that we've never been in this moment as a country where you have a Section 89 inquiry panel producing the kind of conclusions that we are sitting with. So time for our constitutional democracy. So every action, every step has to be given careful thought. And the president felt that he really needed the time to engage over the report and think through the next step quite carefully. So having to prepare for the engagement or finalize preparations for the engagement within the NCOP will have conflicted with the amount of time he needed to go through the report.
As you say, we haven't been in this position as a country before in terms of the impeachment report, but we've certainly been in this position before with presidents being recalled or asked to resign. The president is currently facing various calls for him to resign. EWN is reporting that he is considering this, Vincent. Can you tell us, is the president considering stepping down or resigning currently?
Mandy, I'm hoping that in the next hour or so, we'll be able to provide some direction in terms of what I will call an imminent announcement that the president will be making. I don't want to speculate in terms of what his decision is going to be, except to just say, as we stated in our statement, that a further announcement will be made in due course. We're still on track to make a announcement, but I'm not confident in terms of putting my neck on the block on the time exactly when that announcement will happen, except to say we're in the course of preparing for an announcement. As to what the president has decided or is deciding, that will only be seen when he makes that announcement.
Are we expecting a national address? Is that what you're saying?
It will be in the form of a national address, correct.
And will it be tonight, or are you not able to commit to a timeline?
I'm not able to commit to a timeline, except to say it should be fairly soon, because as I said, part of the issue to consider here is not to sustain a level of uncertainty and anxiety in the country, but also not to allow a situation where there's a lot of speculation that takes root. The sooner matters are addressed, the better.
Vincent, there are various options here. You could fight it on judicial review, the report. You could choose to step down as president and remain president of the ANC. There is an ANC-NEC meeting. Which options is he considering? And are you able to tell us more about the limitations here, of course?
He's aware of those options. He held discussions with several key stakeholders within government as well as within the governing party. Equally, he held conversations with members of his team in his office. And so he's aware of the different options that he has available. What will guide the president will be what is in the best interest of the country at this stage. What course of action does he take that ensures that government remains stable and by extension the country remains stable. And as we stated over and over, that being a president who is guided by due process, who is guided by institutions, who is guided by the laws of the country. So all of those considerations will be on the table. Mostly guided by the interest or the best interest rather of the country in considering which option he takes. But he's aware of all of them. It's been discussed at length and in some great detail with a number of stakeholders, as I said, including his own team. And so now the decision is for him to make and present that decision to the country. But it will be a decision that of primary interest must be the best decision for the country, and that is a decision that looks and considers the best welfare of the country going forward.
Vincent, just one last question. Has a delegation from the ANC been to see him? Has he formally been asked to resign? Because that's what we've seen happening in the past.
No, he has not received any delegation from the ANC. I think you and I have received or have seen similar notifications about various scriptures meetings of the governing party. But as of yesterday, from the time the report came out up until now, there's been no official delegation from the ANC. As I said, he's had engagement with a number of stakeholders in government, as well as in the governing party, but not in the form of a formal delegation that's coming to him to make any sort of representation.
Vincent Magwenya, the spokesperson for President Cyril Ramaphosa, there in an exclusive pre-recorded interview I did with him just before 12 o'clock. The key salient points coming out there. The president is considering his options. He has been consulting with his team, with the government, with the party as well. He is going to address the nation. They can't say when, but he will address the nation, and whatever he does will be in the interests of the country. Well, let's get some response now from the Democratic Alliance leader, John Steenhuisen, who also addressed the country a short while ago. John, good afternoon to you. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you speaking to us. You have called for early elections. This is something that I was mulling over earlier today. Could this be about the country more than about the ANC? Could this be an acceleration of the decline of the ANC? Could we see a snap election, as an example? What are you saying as the DA?
Well, we've called very clearly for an early election. The Constitution mandate provides the opportunity in Section 50 for Parliament to dissolve and for the country to decide on the way forward. I think the current options that exist before the country as it relates to what the choices the ANC are offering are not anything anyone has voted for, nor I think are they desirable. And given the current circumstances, given the untenable position the President now finds himself in, we believe that we should, as Democrats, go back to the people of the country and allow the people to decide on what the future pathway is. Nobody voted for President Didi Mabuza. Nobody voted for President William Kize. And nobody voted to keep a president in place who's so deeply compromised and who will spend the next 18 months, instead of focusing on the business of the state, focused on trying to save his political skin. And so we believe the people should decide the way forward in the country, and that's through an election.
So it's great for the people to decide, but according to the Constitution, you do need more than 50% majority in Parliament to be able to have an election. You don't have the numbers. Are you optimistic this could happen then?
Well, of course. I mean, I would hope that everyone would see that this is the only way forward for the country. We can't continue to prop up a government that has essentially lost its entire mandate. A lot of people voted for Mr. Ramaphosa under the belief that he was going to clean up and clean up. That is now impossible. That platform has been decimated by the findings of the Section 89 report. And I don't think the choice should be left to 4,000 delegates and anti-conference. I think it's a choice that should be left to the people of South Africa. So I think that any party that, that calls itself a democratic organisation shouldn't be scared of the people. And that's what we do as Democrats. We are elected and take our mandate from the people, and I think that in this instance it's up to them to decide on the way forward.
John, we do find ourselves in the awful position, the predicament in this country where we don't want a compromised president. So he would do the right thing by resigning, but the fear is of an even worse incumbent.
Well, that's the problem, and that's why some of the other parties said, oh, you must resign. I don't want the President Didi Mabuza in place. I don't want him to lose out, in Congress to really tease him. End up with, Pala Pala versus Digital Vibes versus the mafia of David Mabuza. I think that what we need is a new government that's going to take into account what the needs of the country are, and focus like a laser beam on fixing and not on the internal gymnastics that we've seen playing out in the ANC over the last few years. And the fact that we now have a president, once again, who is facing a serious constitutional crisis of his party in his own making.
John, thank you very much. John Steenhuisen, leader of the Democratic Alliance. As he says, they're not asking for the president. They're not calling for the president to resign. The problem then is the incumbent. Who replaces him? Is it Didi Mabuza? Is it Paul Mashatile? Is it William Kize? All of these come with all sorts of issues as well. So let me know what you think about that. What do you think about calls for the president to resign? What do you think about what Vincent Magwenya had to say about the fact that the president is considering his options? And the question for me now is, how does Ramaphosa react? Does he fight and take the report on review? His lawyers seem to want to fight it. Does he turn his crisis into an asset, as others have done before, like Zuma? Does he offer to stand down, fall on his sword? He has been guided by the Constitution in the past. That is the kind of president he has been. Does he even have the appetite at this point for a second term? Does he just take his money off and go and farm buffalo? Does he actually want a second term at this point?
702.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Let's walk the talk.
A lot of this is about politics, but it's about the law too. So let's get some legal analysis with Benedict Perry. Benedict, good afternoon to you. Thanks for your time. It does seem as though the politics is overshadowing the law here. This is a matter of law, so let's look at that and put the politics aside for a minute. Can the president take this report on judicial review? What are his options here?
I suppose it is. He could consider taking this report on judicial review. And judicial review, as we come to understand in South Africa, centers around the question of legality. And I don't think that would be a question in this particular instance because he has been given a right to reply. From what we see from the panel report, all the parties that were required to provide evidence and his reply were considered appropriately. So I guess then that would leave them the angle around the rationality of the report and whether the panel, in coming to its findings and recommendations, had due regard to information in front of it and construed it appropriately and rationally in coming to that conclusion. When I read the report, it seems that, given the preliminary stage of the report, it's very clear that there are more questions than answers that were provided by the president, and really that's the basis upon which the recommendation is that the impeachment process should proceed to the next step. So, he could potentially try a review, but in my view, that would not be a successful avenue for him.
Benedict, thank you so much. Benedict Perry, legal analyst there, having a look at what the president could do about this report.
Good day, Mandy. Normally, Victoria, I think President Ramaphosa was saying he must resign. He has been lying about his dealings at the Palapala farm and the report by the Chief Justice. I think it was the one that really made the final nail in the coffin. He must resign and give others a chance. We have seen people being taken out. The likes of Isma Haltule taken out, the likes of Bongo taken out in relation to issues of step aside. We must step aside this evening and make a statement and lead us in peace.
Latest news, breaking stories,
Expert analysis.
all you need to know in 60 minutes.
This is the Midday Report.
Let's unpack all of this, what's happening at the moment with EWN's politics editor, Tsidi Madia, who's no doubt been on the phone non-stop all day today. I'm sure you have not slept. What is the reaction within the ANC? What are people saying behind closed doors, whispering in corners?
It's a very interesting reaction, and I think it's what we expect. We know that those who are his opponents celebrated yesterday's outcomes, and those who are in his corner went to ground trying to figure out what the way forward is, Mandy. I spoke to a lot of people who said, he's a man who goes on an anti-corruption ticket, he wants to be clean, he wants to renew the organization. It has to start with him if that's what he wants. And then his supporters said, a lot of his supporters saying that Ramaphosa himself actually very against the idea of stepping down. That's something that he had actually put on the table, that they were aware that this report, when it eventually comes out, will not necessarily favor the president of the ANC. So they have been having talks and trying to figure out plans around this particular issue. Last night, well into the morning, some of his close supporters held a meeting, well into 3 in the morning, trying to figure out what the way forward is and the messaging that they want to put forward on this, and of course, about that NEC that's expected to take place tonight.
So we spoke to Vincent Magwenya. He said the president has been consulting. He's been talking to stakeholders in government. He's also been talking to his inner circle. What is his inner circle saying?
His inner circle, Mandy, are those people who are saying they were expecting this, but that's where the name of Kgalema Motlanthe comes up. They do speak about a judicial review, saying that there is room right there for them for the president to challenge this particular report. They also speak about what is best for the country. Some of them saying to me, see, at some point the ANC has to fall back, and the president himself, and what needs to be done best is for what serves South Africa best. And that's why the name of Kgalema Motlanthe comes up. He's somebody who is an elder who they trust, They believe that if he comes in and Ramaphosa maybe steps down as head of state and remains ANC president, can assist in stabilizing the country and the fallout from this particular chapter. But what's been interesting to watch, mainly, is the reaction to the so-called renewables. Those who are Ramaphosa supporters who are against Zuma and the so-called Wenzeni Zuma brigade. So what's interesting is seeing an interview that I did with Mondi Gungubel in 2017, where he was prepared to defy Zuma. Just take a quick listen to this.
Against the facts at my disposal. I repeat this, against the facts at my disposal. I don't have confidence. If the aim finds me in this situation, I will vote consistently with my attitude.
So that was Mondi Gungubele in an interview that you did a while ago, speaking about that he would defy.
17, Mandy, where there was an issue of a motion of no confidence against Zuma, and Mondi carrying an ANC constitution was saying, I'm prepared to defy the party line to do what is right. So that video was from back in the day in 2017. It's resurfaced because the people who are against Ramaphosa look at Mondi, the key ally, say, what do you do now with the constitution of the ANC in your hands?
The big question is, will he go? What will he do? So that means the incumbent. Everybody wants to know what's next. So we've got some options here. Didi Mabuza, that has been like absent for the last 5 years, could make a wild comeback here, like the cat that he's known as. We've got William Kize, who has digital vibes, who is on the ballot for the presidency. And then, of course, we've got Paul Mashatile, who's waiting in the wings.
I don't count William Kize in any of this. William Kize supporters might think that this is an opportunity. I still don't read this as a moment for Zweli to rise come December. I think what he'll do, as I said, there's a caretaker option that they're putting on the table, but I think there's a moment that says Paul Mashatile, and I think we'll see that play itself out in the NEC. The expectation that Paul Mashatile might want to pull with those who are calling for Ramaphosa to be recalled, I don't necessarily see. I think Paul Mashatile knows that there's an ANC election 2 weeks away from now, and he's looking out for himself and what serves him best.
And just to remind people, because people forget about this, 5 years ago at Nazareth, when Didi Mabuza became the deputy president, it was a 2-for-1 deal. He wasn't alone. It was Paul Mashatile and Didi Mabuza together. So is this a Paul Mashatile, Didi Mabuza fight?
I think so. I would not be surprised to see the two of them standing together at the helm of the ANC at the end. I would not be surprised at all, Mandy. As you said, it was always a 2-for-1 package. And if that is the case, William Kize really then is in trouble.
Well, it's not in trouble. Didi, we live in wild, interesting times in this country, but we are resilient. We have been here before, and we will navigate these troubled waters, won't we? 12:31, time for
Good afternoon, I'm Spiso Zulum. There's a developing story. The presidency has confirmed there will be a national address in the wake of the release of a scathing report related to President Cyril Ramaphosa's Limpopo Alapala farm. A Section 89 report has found prima facie evidence that, at the face of it, Ramaphosa may have violated the Constitution and anti-corruption laws. Presidency spokesperson Vincent Magwenya says the president is considering his options.
I don't want to speculate in terms of what his decision is going to be, except to just say, as we stated in our statement, that a further announcement will be made in due course. We're still on track to make an announcement, but I'm not confident in terms of putting my neck on the block on the time exactly when that announcement will happen, except to say we're in the course of preparing for an announcement.
Meanwhile, Minister of the Presidency Mondi Gungubele says case for the president is not a conclusion of guilt or wrongdoing. Gungubele also says Ramaphosa has always respected the laws of the country and he maintains he did nothing untoward. Addressing a post-cabinet media briefing earlier today, Gungubele said calls for Ramaphosa to step aside are nothing new. In other news, calm has been restored outside the office of the Chief Justice in Midrand, where EFF supporters have been protesting over the release of Janusz Valus on parole. The party moved from the N1 highway after police dispersed the crowd obstructing traffic. Valus, who was convicted of killing SACP leader Chris Hani in 1993, is set to be released later today despite a public outcry. Those are the headlines. This Eyewitness News and more at 1 or as it happens.
EWN sport.
Good afternoon, I'm Talagile Nganga. The last round of group games at the FIFA World Cup continued today.